People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good afternoon, and I hope you're all well and safe and doing equally as well in this troubled times globally. Moving forward, got some things to talk about, so we might as well speak about them, people, first and foremost. What do we speak about first? Well, there's only transfer news, so let's speak about the first bit. According to PB Sports Writer, that's the app, Arsenal have put Real Betis midfielder Nabil Fekir back on their radar as a potential replacement for Dani Ceballos. Ceballos is set to return to Spain when his loan is up at the end of the season. Now, we've heard we're trying to extend that, obviously, with the global epidemic, but Ceballos might, we might not make it permanent. He might not want to stay here permanent. You've seen Betis, Valencia, Seville all linked with him. He might want to stay in his homeland. It might be something he wants to do. We don't know. Was expecting to read that would say Mesut Ozil, but who knows? And I think Fekir should be hard done by, man. Like, there was I think for me, looking back at Fekir, I think he's done well. I think he burst on the scene. I think he definitely had a bit more pace about him when he bursted onto the scene. Then he took that mad injury. Then he got back well and had a great season fully on a year or two. Like, what was that season? He scored one lovely long-range effort against PSG. He's played a good couple times against PSG. Obviously, the Liverpool move didn't happen for whatever reason. He says it weren't his knee. They say allegedly it was. It didn't happen. And it did shock people. Like, he's gone from almost joining Liverpool for whole heaps of money, linked to Barca. People even said he was going Betis to then go to Barca, to then go to Betis. But at the end of the day, the 26-year-old has shown he's on stuff. And again, Betis would probably want to make a comfortable profit on him. Or is he just there on loan? I don't know. But no, he's not. They might want to make a comfortable profit on him. But I mean, he's 26. He's got time on his side. He seems to be over his injuries. They might want to make a profit. But is there an affordable fee for Arsenal to do there? I wouldn't mind it, people. He played well against Barcelona this season as well. But Fekir, generally, his performances have been consistent. But there has been some quiet moments. It's not like he's been dominating the league and things. This is as me watching La Liga sporadically. So I could be choking nonsense, is what it is. We obviously have tried to buy him before, been interested for obvious reasons. He's got 7 goals, 6 assists in La Liga this term. I wouldn't mind going for him. Why not? Moving away from that though, people, and there's a young lad at Espanyol that made his debut in the Europa League a couple of months back. Today he's been linked with Chelsea, and I think Bayern Munich and Barca are interested in him. Nico, I can't even say this name. Nico Unnamed, I can't say it. He's 18. I'm not watching man religiously, but what I have seen, he looks very good technically, very comfortable driven past someone. In his little cameo in the Europa League, he was on the flanks. I think he's got potential to be a central-based creative midfielder. And at 8 million, it can't be the biggest of fees. He plays for Espanyol. For their B side, I think he's got 7 goals, 4 assists this season. He's 18. He could be someone to watch. I'm not saying you need to move immediately, but he's decent, man, and he seems to be a guy about to get more opportunities at Espanyol. So, do your research on the lad and report your findings back to me, people. But he's someone I'm looking at and paying attention to. Now, Mustafi and Mesut Ozil's agents have been speaking, and it follows kind of what you're hearing in relation to Mkhitaryan. The current theme between all of these players is they're contracted until 2021. Now, if we look at it, Mustafi, first, his agent has said, Mustafi himself has said, better yet, this ain't his agent, it's just Ozil's agent. Apologies. We are in a situation where everyone is worried about the current situation, not so much about their personal future. It's difficult to think about my personal future. Obviously, he's got one eye on it, but with the coronavirus, with lives being on the line, he's not had a chance. And I'm sure there's a lot to think about, especially like when will his contract run out? What happens to contracts with FIFA? When does the league get renewed? So there's not much he can do in terms of concrete thinking. Obviously, regardless, even before this, contracted until 2021. He's 27 years of age or so. He needs to set down roots and, get a big contract, get a good deal and play somewhere consistently. Is that going to happen at Arsenal? His form has probably he's done as best as he can to fight back and have a career and complicate matters. If I ask many Arsenal fans, truthfully, would you give Mustafi a new deal? Or truthfully, are you 100% convinced the way he's playing right now, a year from now, in the next season, if this season doesn't get replayed or whatever, he would still be able to play to this level? If you believe that, then fair enough. I'm sure a lot of you are like me and you're not convinced. So if you're not convinced with that, you need to keep a man moving. and he's gonna play coy on his future to a degree. But he has to have been thinking about it. People, come on. He's got a family as well. None of us know what will happen next and when we'll play again. So once we have overcome this difficult time and are back on the pitch, I can think about questions like that. Also, the club has more important stuff to deal with right now than my future, and of course, the club health and safety is key. Hope in tandem with what we're doing with the coronavirus and helping charities, we're still talking with Saka and Aubameyang, though. I get it for Mustafi's thing, but they need to thingy. So it is what it is in that regards, people. He did also mention stuff about Arteta and how he feels comfortable about Arteta and things like that. And regardless of if you believe in him or not, it's lovely to hear a manager, he's got faith in a manager. Reports from Sport in Spain are coming out and they're saying, obviously, Coutinho's agent wants him to move to the Premier League. Apparently, he's open to leaving Barca on loan this season. Apparently, Chelsea or Arsenal are his priority, maybe because of London. Can't see why. If Chelsea are in the Champions League, fair enough. If we're not, what's the point? You just be a big fish in a small pond. You sure you can't eat humble pie and try and get that move to Liverpool, a loan thing? Just say I'm sure Liverpool fans in hindsight, he looks silly, but and he still won trophies there. You can't begrudge him. Like, it's Barcelona. Apparently, the player doesn't want to reduce his wages and he's not keen on moving to Manchester United or Spurs. I mean, I can get the Spurs one. But, man, you're talking about wages and you're saying you're not keen on moving to Man United. The only problem with the United thing is obviously the Liverpool ties. But unless you go to City, where are you going to get that money? Chelsea could probably do it. Arsenal, I guess we need to move players on and do several things before an operation like this could be completed. So it is what it is in that regards, people. Reports from the same article are also saying we're in for Ousmane Dembele and Liverpool is as well. That's a report that isn't going away. And is there any legs to it? Who knows, people? It'd be a great signing for both clubs, but is there actual legs to it, or is it just bullshit? I don't know, people. Moving away from that, though, Arsenal and Spurs have been linked with Jimenez. Apparently, they're interested in the striker. Now, with Harry Kane being injured, you can see Spurs' evident need for another out-and-out striker or potential another option. For us, we're going to be linked with a whole host of strikers because of Aubameyang stuff. And to be fair, we've been linked with Jimenez before that. He's not a bad player, but it's not going to happen, is it, people, realistically? It's just not going to happen. It's a bit random, but just considering the fact that Upamecano is an Arsenal target, he almost could have signed for Manchester United as a team when he left his first team, Valenciennes. I can't say that name, it's a French thing. But he said, I went to visit the Manchester United facilities. It did not please me too much. I did not want to be in a host family. I would have preferred to be in a training centre. In Salzburg, there were foreigners and prospects for sports development. In Manchester, it was less easy for me to progress. I think that the German clubs of today have the right approach towards young players. They show confidence. So again, he wasn't keen on being with a host family. He wanted to, I guess, be in a training centre or a facility with other prospects, or just be more. I guess he didn't want to be alienated as a little kid. At the end of the day, he's done what's best for his development. He also could have joined Arsenal, as he's previously said, but he went to a club where they were going to give him time to develop, scope to get confidence and play games. And now look at him. He's being linked with Barcelona and all of these other clubs. And Barca, the Euros has been postponed. If a move to Barca happens, being at a team like that, the national level people take you a bit more seriously, and he could pip a place in that side, people. You've got Pavard will probably go because Deschamps likes to play favourites. You've got him, you've got Lynette, you've got Umtiti, but if Umtiti's not fit, you could even be your teammate, ironically. Who knows what's going to happen? Finally, though, and speaking about Mesut Ozil, his agent has refused to rule out a move to Fenerbahçe when his contract expires. You've seen him linked with Fenerbahçe, you've seen him linked with a couple of MLS teams, and, he has to explore options. There, he hasn't even ruled out an extended deal at Arsenal. That would not be the right thing to do, and we shouldn't do it, and his career should end here next year. I think he can look back at Arsenal with pride. He's won FA Cups. He's actually been a good player, and he's actually turned up in a lot of big games, contrary to relief. There are sometimes he's failed to pull it out. Times he's flattered to deceive, of course. I think we really failed to build around not just Ozil, but Alexis and Santi personally, people, because when we brought in Sane and then Ozil the next summer, and I think it was Alexis the summer after that, this was a chance to bring in a defensive mid, bring in a quality striker, bring in a centre-half, do all the things we're banging on about. I don't want to talk about ifs and buts, but we could have killed for an Aubameyang right now with that side, or even just on current form, the way Luiz, Mustafi and these men are playing, just based on form, people. So I think in the same way you could say United and Pogba, they signed Pogba. You can't sign these men and think everything's going to change. One man can change it all. Of course, there are things they need to take responsibility for, but the team should be patterned. The club should be in a healthy state before you move to a man. Like, Ozil would have definitely been better off at Highbury. He might have got gripped up by Henry and these slightly tougher characters, but he would have been around other players that are ballers. You need ballers to play with. There's some man that play better with better players. There's not always man that are gonna thrive with dead players. And I think Pogba and Ozil are that. Again, you need to take responsibility, but I do think, especially English culture, English football, we fail to understand these things. We just see that these guys are global names and whatnot, and it is what it is. Ozil, like I said, is being interested by a lot of clubs. Can look back at fondness with his career. Obviously, he's got Turkish roots, playing for Real Madrid, playing for Arsenal, earning a lot of money. It could be worth going to Fenerbahçe and or USA for the next couple of years. It's time to explore. I think, obviously, he's a Turkish man of Turkish descent, so he would love it there, and I'm sure his family would. I think his lifestyle and the way Ozil is, he would enjoy America or DC, where he's actually got business interests. He loves London. I don't think he will permanently move away from London, even when he retires and goes back to Germany or goes to Turkey or wherever he does, people. I mean, you just see Ozil and you think the man's a hustler. I mean, Flamini's already brought him into that, whatever Flamini's doing. Flamini's trying to be a billionaire. He's already got his other businesses. Ozil's finna be set up for life, man. And then, Kolasinac is probably, just for being a hitman, probably going to get brought in that. But his agent's been quiet, as you would at this delicate time with the contract running out. He said, you never know in football. First of all, you can never predict the movements of players. I've said it before, and I'm saying it again, that Ozil is really happy where he is at Arsenal. He still has a contract to go, and there is no change. We'll see what the future holds when the contract ends. But for now, there is nothing I can say. So he's not ruled out staying at Arsenal. He's not ruled out leaving Arsenal. He's not ruled out anything, people. And he spoke a couple of bits as well, but that's the only bit that really interested me. In relation to Arteta, and that could be, Ozil might just say, I'm going to ride this for a year. He said, I think Mikel Arteta is a very good coach, and he learned from the best coaches in the world. He was on the sidelines with Pep Guardiola for years, and I think he knows what he's doing. Ozil is more than happy at the Emirates. He loves the club, he loves the fans, he loves the city. This is his 7th year as a Gooner, and he loves being part of the Arsenal community. That is his home. And I know people will, depending on who you are, you'll be riled up by them comments, or it is what it is, man. And to be fair, if he's stable here in his family life and he's obviously excluding the whole knife thing that happened, people. But if he's here in his family life, he's happy in the squad, he's happy, it's like any job. You're not going to just get up and leave unless you have to. And Ozil's contract is a delicate one, because with Ozil here, it's probably unlikely you're going to give significant wages to Aubameyang. And it's not just Ozil. You've got Mkhitaryan, you've got Sead Kolasinac, Lacazette. These are all players that are commanding good salaries, people. And are they necessarily turning up? Them man there that I've just said are contracted until 2022. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. I'm sure you've all seen off topic, there seems to be an increase in desire or want from Premier League clubs to abandon this season and things like that, which would obviously affect Liverpool claiming their first Premier League trophy in 30 years, which I think the first priority should be to get back on with the season. But it's not for me to decide, and we're all just reacting to what we're seeing. But on that note, I've got nothing more to add. I'm going to get out of here. People, deluded. I'm out.